Rich Varney here. Welcome to another edition of the Rich Varney Show podcast. Have you ever wondered what it's like to buy real estate in the area of Manzanillo of Mexico on the west coast? Today we're going to be chatting with one of the top realtors in the area, Candy King. She's going to be sharing with us some of her thoughts and feelings about how the market has shifted demographically in the past couple of years, who's buying, who's not buying, the effects that has had on pricing in the market. We'll also be chatting with her and getting her thoughts and feelings of how the COVID-19 will be affecting the market as we go along and what we may expect in the future. Stay tuned, guys. The podcast is on its way. What a great name Candy King is. Welcome, Candy.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich, and thank you for having me.
So I want to give people a little bit of a back story of you, Candy. You've been down living in Mexico for the past 22 years. You've been in the real estate business for the past 19 years. Wow. Initially, you worked with Ed Preston, and then you started Manzanillo Pacific Real Estate Office. From there, you went and you co-brokered at Coldwell Banker for another 8 years, and then from there, you started another office, and this office is called the Candy King Real Estate Office. Yeah?
That's right.
How exciting. So have you always been a forward thinker, always wanting to work for yourself?
I've always worked for myself, yes. My whole life. My first life, I ran an international moving company, so if you wanted to move from the U.S. to Mexico, that's what we did. So we had to move to Mexico, and actually you could move anywhere in the world.
Sure.
So I owned that, and yes, got used to working for myself.
And that was when you were, originally you're from Seattle, right?
Seattle, exactly, yes.
Yeah.
We were dealing with Americans that wanted to move anywhere in the world.
From your experience, have you seen a big influx of Americans coming to Mexico in the past 20 years? Has it got more and more every year?
We have more and more every year.
Yeah.
And usually they start out for a couple of weeks and then a couple of months and then up to 6 months. We have a lot of Canadians in Manzanillo.
We do as well. We're actually in Akahik, we have a lot of Canadians. Probably mainly more Americans, I have to say, though, down here. The business is about 55% American and about 20% Canadian. That's the business down here.
That's what we used to be, but now we're way more Canadians because it's more difficult to get here right now by air from the U.S.
Oh, I see. They've just made it a lot more, because you can get a direct flight from Vancouver, right? To Manzanillo?
Yeah.
From Manzanillo?
From the West Coast, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so it's kind of opened up, because I know Malaki is not far from Manzanillo, and there's always a lot of Canadians going down there.
And how did you find Mexico?
I found a woman.
That's always it, isn't it?
And the rest is history. Now I have 2 kids.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. But yeah, I'm definitely a strange breed, because I came directly from the UK, and there's not many people that come directly from the UK to Mexico. We're a very small minority.
That's true. Maybe you could bring some more in.
I think, the Brits, they travel pretty well. They're pretty, and the ones I've met here, they integrate really well into the society.
Mm-hmm.
They normally speak Spanish, which is interesting. The Brits kind of learn. They kind of put it upon themselves to learn. Maybe it's because we're not that close to home, so we're like, shit, we really have to kind of integrate and to be able to live comfortably in Mexico.
Well, it's much more fun if you speak Spanish. When you don't, you miss a lot.
You certainly do, yeah. So how are you finding this whole COVID-19 lockdown? What's the lockdown like there?
Well, the beaches are closed, like really closed. There's your police and Marines out there. For me, it's kind of nice actually because for the first time in 20 years, I'm spending time with my husband. So we're learning new things. And I'm taking classes online, and yeah, I'm quite enjoying it.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Isn't it a weird thing that we get locked down, forced, like a forced lockdown, and suddenly it's like you spend more time with your kids, you start eating more food at home, you start cooking more, you even start doing a bit of gardening.
Yeah, it's nice.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm enjoying this time just to take stock a little bit. And how are you finding that the people are taking it? Do you live in the center of Manzanillo?
I live in Las Brisas, which is one of the beaches. So it's hard, of course, for the people the maids and the ones, I mean, like we're still paying our maid, but she's not coming. So I am finding that my house is filthy. That's the problem. And the chicken man next to me is still open, selling rotisserie chicken. So life is still going on.
Life is going on, yeah. Do you find that a lot of people are using mouth guards? Is there social distancing going on?
Yes. The grocery stores are only letting 5 people in at a time.
Yesterday there was something from the governor of Jalisco. He came out and said, look, we're going to start taking this very, very seriously. So from today, everyone has to wear a mouth guard. If you're not, you can actually get pulled over if you're in the car or walking, and they can fine you on the spot.
Really? In the car? Wow.
In the car as well, yeah. Anywhere out in a public spaces. So I guess being in the car is somewhat of a public space. But yeah, I heard it's watching the presentation yesterday from the governor. He's very serious about putting some rules in place, so preventions in place, so this doesn't turn quickly into, I guess, the United States.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I saw a couple of friends of mine driving down the road the other day before this with their masks on. I thought, oh my gosh, we're in the land of the zombies.
So what's it been like? What's the state of the? I mean, I guess is everything slowed down there? What's the local real estate market like? What's it doing at the moment? How's it being affected with this COVID-19?
Well, it's slowed down a lot, but we do still have some people coming from Guadalajara, even though they were told not to come. So we have some buyers who've been doing some showings, and I think we're going to have a couple offers. So it's okay. The market seems to be pretty flat at the moment.
Do you see this whole thing? I mean, it's kind of unknown territory, isn't it? What we're talking about here. But do you think we may see the next few months just more of the same?
I think there will probably be some desperate sellers, and the interest rates in the States are so low that maybe some people will borrow up there and bring it down here. I don't know. It seems like the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer. Do you think
that same thing is going to happen with the real estate market in the next few months, where we will see? I don't know. How has it been for you? Have you been in a bit of a bubble in the past couple of years?
We have. Nothing much has changed. If anything, it's gone down a little because the U.S. government is calling us as dangerous as Iraq.
Oh.
Whereas the Canadian government says that Manzanillo is safe.
So, okay.
Unfortunately, that's affected our business a bit. No foreigners here have actually been affected. It's just that they're afraid to come. So our prices have not moved much.
Okay.
If anything, they've gone down.
But they went down before the whole coronavirus thing started?
Yes. I said we are a really good buy right now.
You saw it flatten a little bit in 2019. How was 2019 down there?
For the first time, we had more Mexican buyers than foreigners. In the past, we've had about 50-50, and 2019, we had about 70-30 nationals. Aside from that, the prices were about the same.
So the demographic has definitely shifted.
It has. Well, it did. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I imagine it'll stay the same because it's pretty hard for foreigners to get here right now.
Yeah. So really, the only buyers that we're going to have are people that are already here. I mean, foreigners that are already here, say on temporary or permanent visas, and nationals. That's pretty much it,
right.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I think so.
So
yeah.
people that will buy maybe for investment purposes, hold it, rent it in the future when they can basically rent again, when people can travel again. And the demographic, have you seen like a younger demographic of people buying houses down there, like young Mexicans, middle class Mexicans?
Yes. Certainly younger than the foreigners who buy.
So they're buying a lot of the business is based on kind of like investment properties.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're basically Airbnb-ing them out and stuff like that.
They are doing a lot of that,
Yeah. And I mean, to buy a nice property, like I'm just going to put it out there, like a property, say 400 square meters of land, 200 square meters of construction, what in a nice area, maybe with a view, what would that go for?
With a view. We have, with a view, bigger than that, like 4,000 square feet, 400 meters,
Yeah.
495.
495, wow. But with a view of the ocean, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a view, 100 less?
Yeah. Easily. Maybe more like 250. We have very little in the millions here now. La Punta, the land of the rich and famous, is the only place really that's got houses that are $1 million or a little bit over.
Wow. So for $1 million, you can get an incredible property right on the cliff face of...
Exactly.
Isn't that
for $1 million, you get a mansion.
Oh my God. So, and that maybe, a couple of years ago when you were really, it was in the height of the, in 2018, that would have cost you, 1.5?
Yes, or 1.8 even maybe.
Wow. So you've really seen a reduction of listing prices. Incredible.
Yeah. Terrible, but yes.
Yeah. But that hasn't slowed the market down. It hasn't slowed the amount of real estate that gets sold. It's still quite buoyant. Yes,
the number of sales has actually gone up.
Interesting. So maybe that had to happen, right? You had to hit that point, that top point, for it to then start coming down, for it to be in a way more desirable for people to start buying into the area again. I'm going to come and see you and buy some real estate down there.
Come on down. Yeah.
We'll go out when we can go out where there's no mouth guards needed. We can go and just sit there, drink a beer, and give each other a hug. Even kiss each other on the cheek. Can you imagine them days? Hopefully they'll come back.
Yes.
Crazy stuff. So what recommendations would you give a client at this time, thinking about coming to Manzanillo, thinking about, you deal with Manzanillo, you deal with Malacca, you deal with all that kind of area of the coast, right?
No, we only do Manzanillo.
Just, Manzanillo and all, okay, just Manzanillo. So what would you recommend for a foreigner thinking about, they're beginning to do the research, they're beginning to look at their dream home in Mexico, they want to be on the beach, they don't want to be inland. What would you say? What would your recommendations be to them to prepare and so it's not a huge culture shock coming to Mexico?
I didn't have a big culture shock. Did you?
I went to Guadalajara, so I wasn't really surrounded by any foreigners, so it was a little bit of a culture shock for me. Yeah.
So that's different, yeah. And I've been here for so long that I might not be the right one to ask, but basically everything is so much cheaper here. Life is so much less expensive, less hectic, better, easier. So I guess I would say, come on down. We're so spoiled.
I think we are. I really think we are. I've tried to go back to England and it didn't work. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got to go back. And Mexico feels like my home now. after 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people are so welcoming.
They say
everybody's so welcoming. It's just you even try to speak Spanish, they think you're wonderful.
you make friends instantly. I mean, I love what the vibe is down at the beach. I mean, my wife, she grew up in Colima, so she hates the heat, and I've always wanted to go and live on the beach. Coming from England, maybe one day we can kind of between the two, we can just buy a little kind of flat or something, and we can go back and forth. And
there you go.
Yeah. But would you recommend the people like study a bit of English, study a bit of Spanish before they come down? Do you think it?
Well, it's pretty easy once you get here and you're already immersed. We have lots of good teachers. So yes, if you can learn before, great, but you don't have to.
Yeah, fantastic, good advice. Some places like Akahika as well, you don't really need to. It's just the quality of your life does improve greatly if you do. Manzanillo is a great area, guys. If you are thinking about, I mean, a lot of people do go to Puerto Vallarta, and Puerto Vallarta is lovely. You've got Nuevo Vallarta, the old town Vallarta, but I think you get a lot more for your money in Manzanillo, don't you?
You do, yes. And culture shock. I get culture shock when I go to Puerto Vallarta. Oh my gosh, they have 6-lane roads, and it takes me an hour to get out of town. Expensive. Everything is more expensive.
But Manzanillo is beautiful to me. And the thing is, once you're there, on the beach, you don't even really notice that there's a port, apart from a few ships going by throughout the day. You don't really. The beach is clean. The beaches are clean, and you quickly forget that there's a big port next to it.
Yeah. We're two separate things. The port provides us with the infrastructure that we need to have everything that we like.
It certainly does. Okay. How do you think it's going to affect the business as we go on? I mean, with people being somewhat scared to have people in their houses to view real estate, and we're in a very, very strange time, aren't we? We
really are. Yeah, and I think yes, everybody will be a little more careful, and I don't know how the realtors are going to feel about having people in their cars. But how it's affected is going to depend on how the economies of the world are affected and how long it takes to recover.
The way I see it, things will maybe get sold virtually by video. So you will go to the house, do a video, send it to the client or whatever, and they'll go, "Yep, that looks fine to me. I'll buy it." And instead of maybe until all these laws are lifted and people can travel freely, I mean, that's all we've got really, isn't it? And saying that, there's a push at that because people aren't going to allow you in their properties to take videos at the moment. So it's a very strange time.
It is. A lot of the properties that we represent at this time don't have people in them. So from that standpoint, we're a little luckier.
I'm really enjoying this conversation about how you've seen the market develop over the past 20 years or so. I mean, going back, there's not many people who have been here for that long in the business. Was there a business 20 years ago? Were there a lot of tourists coming in 20 years ago?
Yes. Right after the movie 10 with Bo Derek, that was the first building boom. So yes, there's been real estate since then. Okay. When we first got here, we paid $80,000 for our 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo on the beach, and now that condo's worth about $220,000.
Do you think the influx of people over the years is because of the demographic of the baby boomers retiring? Do you think it was a lot of that affected the market and people were just people just started retiring and it's just wow, where do I go and travel now? And instead of going to Florida or instead of going to, Palm Springs, suddenly, I can get flights to Mexico. They're pretty cheap. And, do you think that was a big part of the new influx of people coming down?
I think it was a big part. I personally was thinking that it was going to be bigger than it was. I don't know where those people went, maybe to Akahika. But yes, definitely that had an impact. And the cost of living being so much more reasonable here certainly would help with retired people
and
having a better living.
And that stayed in line, hasn't it? I mean, even the past 10 years I've been here, the price of things have gone up a little bit, granted. But the price of, say, I mean, petrol's, it went up a lot. It went up probably threefold. And now it's gone right back down. But things like food, they seem to be a similar price to what it was, 10 years ago. It hasn't changed that much.
Yeah, here it's gone up a bit, but certainly not compared to what it is. Holy mackerel. Yeah. And then the cost of going out to eat, here if we spend 1,000 pesos for 4 people for dinner with wine, we think that we're really exorbitant. And in Seattle, that's breakfast for 2.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. In some places, it's 2 coffees in Starbucks.
Exactly.
Candy, it's been lovely. I mean, I could talk to you for hours, and I hopefully the next call we have, I'm going to get a visual, and we can. I would love to talk to you more if you would be open to it, and pick your brain even more if that's all right as we go along on this kind of journey of the COVID-19, if you're open to that, I would love to do that.
Absolutely, of course. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Candy. I wish you all the best. I wish your business all the best in these kind of challenging times, and I really hope that we can stay in business and we can keep serving people. By the way, guys, if anybody's listening to this, if you're looking for, you're looking for help, assistance, tender, loving care from a fantastic realtor, and so I'll leave some of Candy's details down below in the description, so you guys can give her a call and start having that conversation about buying your paradise home in Manzanillo. Big thanks to Candy King for coming on the podcast today. Remember, you can listen to the podcast on Google Podcast or Spotify. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and until the next time, take care. Hasta luego, amigos. Hasta luego, amigos. Hasta luego.